I wanted to close off today with a little bit of a thank you and also a little bit of a small take on perspective as well. First, I want to thank you all for your attendance and attention this evening. We're very honored to have you here as our guests, and it means so much to us. ROCTalks holds a very special place in my heart, and as I prepare to say goodbye this year, I find myself feeling a little emotional. This space, these stories, and this community have meant more to me than I can put into words. But before I go, I wanted to leave you all with a story, something that's been on my mind lately, a moment that stuck with me, and that I think speaks to the heart of what we at ROCTalks are all about. This is the story of a man that we all know very well, the story of King Midas. Midas was offered a wish by the Greek god Dionysus, a wish with no barriers, no caveats, and no rules. And so Midas, being the man that he was, a man of greed, of desire, wished that everything he touched would turn to gold. At first, he was astounded. This was a dream come true. His palace shined, his wealth multiplied. He became the richest man on the planet. Anything he touched, from a kettle to a book to a chair, would instantly turn into precious, beautiful gold. Midas was so ecstatic with this new ability that he had uncovered. However, what he didn't realize was that this joy would only last so long. Soon, this wish that had started as a blessing would turn into a curse. He couldn't eat or drink. His food and his wine would instantly turn solid. He craved the love of his family, yet what Midas didn't realize is that in the pursuit of his greed, he would lose what he loved the most. Soon, when he reached for his daughter for an embrace, she turned to lifeless metal. He had stripped his life entirely of meaning. He was surrounded by gold, but completely and utterly alone. Midas is someone I believe we all really need to learn from, especially today. I was reminded of him when I thought back to my time in the streets of Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a city in southern India, a place that stood out to me for its almost dystopian-like class divide and its mosaic of struggle and resilience. The best way to describe its unique phenomena is through picturing a traffic jam in the peak of summer. On one hand, there were people on the brink of starvation, from little children to the elderly just stationed along the roadside, vending and begging amongst a traveling crowd in the scorching heat. Alongside them, there were middle-class workers toiling tirelessly in shops and roadside stalls just to sustain their households. And then came the motorcycles, carrying sometimes one, sometimes two, and at times entire families on a single two-wheeler. Finally, in contrast to all of these people, there were those of us in the cars. We lived in our bubbles, shielded from the heat, the noise, the pollution, completely oblivious to everybody else's struggles, and perhaps not feeling the need to be concerned. And it makes me wonder, did we even think to care? Or had we, like Midas, just grown so detached from the struggles around us and what truly matters? The world we live in today glorifies wealth, individualism, materialism, and accumulation. Anything that signals higher status is upheld as superior. Society's definition of success has drifted far from values and morals that have marked human society for decades, like choosing to live in larger families to save money, or sharing space with roommates, or even buying durable, affordable clothing from local department stores instead of chasing designer labels. Now, our focus is overwhelmingly on things like property, luxury brands, expensive degrees. Status and image have become the center of our attention. Success is no longer measured by fulfillment or purpose, but rather by accumulation. We idolize six-figure salaries and high-end lifestyles. We look down on modest career paths chosen out of passion rather than profit. Even when you look beyond this obsession with status and look deeper at the core pillars of our society, essential services like healthcare, education, and justice, you'll find that they're no longer protected either. They've been turned entirely into businesses. In healthcare, doctors are often given barely 5 to 10 minutes per patient. The more patients they see, the more money they make. So healing has kind of taken a back seat to efficiency and profit. The question isn't how to care better, it's become how many patients can we squeeze into the same block of time to maximize revenue. Education too has shifted from a mission of spreading knowledge to a transaction based on affordability. It's now about who can pay the highest tuition and who can claim a seat at a prestigious college. Rankings now matter more than true learning. Student debt itself has become a booming industry, and the cost of tuition matters more than the quality of education. It's a business, plain and simple. In our justice system, it's no longer about who's right, it's about who can afford the best lawyer. Fairness has been replaced by influence and access, and justice is no longer blind, it's bought. It almost seems like these industries aren't expected to function well, only just poorly enough that we remain dependent on them. That way, they're never truly reformed or dismantled. Politicians continue to use them as platforms for promises, knowing full well they won't fix them, because fixing them would mean losing a talking point, a source of leverage, a dependable campaign hook. As long as things stay slightly broken, we'll always need someone to claim they'll fix them. And that cycle of performative concern without meaningful change just keeps repeating, but at the heart of it, this isn't about politics. It's about capitalism and how deeply it has shaped our systems and our daily lives to prioritize profit and material desires over people. We've taken these core institutions, ones that are meant to protect, uplift, and preserve human dignity, and reduce them to mechanisms of control, optimized for revenue, not care. And in doing so, we've lost sight of why they exist in the first place. In this endless desire of more and more and more, we're not just losing time, we're losing ourselves. Every single one of us is stuck in this rat race. We're caught in a desperate competition for resources, for opportunities, for status, and somewhere along the way, we've lost the meaning of genuineness, authenticity, and true passion. Those values are quickly disappearing, replaced by a relentless pressure to outpace the person ahead of us and to cling to what's deemed practical or successful. I see so many of my peers abandoning their dreams in the arts, in writing, in service, in the humanities, trading them for fields that seem safe, like computer science or data science, just for the promise of a six-figure job after graduation. But what they don't realize is that thousands of others are doing the exact same thing, running the same race, following the same path. These once practical fields are now oversaturated, and even students with these degrees are struggling to find jobs. People are no longer asking what makes me feel alive. It's rather what's impressive. What's gonna let me work 4 days remote, 1 day in person, and let me make six figures all at the same time? What's safe? We're all chasing the same thing, and that's exactly why we're all stuck, trapped in this loop of competition, of scarcity, and of emptiness. And in the process, we've lost more than just our passions. We've lost connection. People don't have time to nurture friendships anymore. We are seeing more and more isolated nuclear families. It's becoming harder to make friends after graduation because we've become so focused on the things that ultimately don't matter, like titles, paychecks, LinkedIn posts, that we've forgotten what it means to slow down, to be present. The system tells us that we're only as valuable as what we produce. But the truth is, the things that make life meaningful, like community, creativity, and love, don't fit into a resume. And maybe it's time that we started remembering that. The more we chase, the more hollow it all begins to feel. And I can't help but wonder, was this what was meant to happen? Is this what truly matters? Is this what we were meant to become? Competitors in an endless race, convinced that one more achievement, one more promotion, one more paycheck will finally be enough, just one more win, and I'll be there? Like Midas, we're trading what truly matters for something that can never satisfy us, a relentless feeling that no matter how much we have, we always want more. When we look at our ancestors, they rarely fought for titles or salaries. I think about epics like the Mahabharata or the Iliad, where Arjuna and Achilles didn't stand for wealth, but for ideals. These were stories of individuals who gave everything, not for personal gain, but for something greater than themselves. Wars and battles were fought for love, loyalty, justice, and freedom. History has always been shaped by the pursuit of power, much like today, but in the past, it feels as though those pursuits were often rooted in something deeply human, sacrifice for a cause beyond the self. But today, what are we really fighting for? We're losing what makes us genuinely human, our connections, our communities, our empathy. The human touch is what once made us so empowering in stories, in mythology, in the lives of our ancestors. And now, why are we turning cold? Why are we becoming lifeless like metal? We've lost our ability to see beyond our own reflection. And so I come back to the question that haunted Midas and now haunts me. If we had the power to turn everything we touched into gold, would we? Sometimes I worry that probably we would. We choose the curse over the blessing, the life of accumulation over the life of love. But I still hold on to this little small hope that maybe, just maybe, if we were offered that power, we'd pause. We'd turn the other way. We choose to redefine what gold truly means to us. We'd realize that real wealth isn't found in material, lifeless things, but in meaning, connection, and purpose. that gold without heart isn't alive. Maybe the real gold isn't something you can hold, but something you feel. That warmth of human connection, that sense of being truly alive. Without being human, we lose the joy of purposeful work, the quiet fulfillment of being there for someone. My hope is that we don't make the same mistake that Midas did. That we look around at this world, this endless chase, and we decide to stop, to breathe, to notice how beautiful life already is, to stop and smell the roses, to preserve what makes us human. And so I ask, not just you, but myself as well, what is your gold? That's it. Thank you, guys.